Hello, it's Jennifer Redmond Knight, your guide to coalition building. We are continuing our conversation in online meetings, and we've already gone through our good tips in terms of that. But one of the things that I heard from you guys is how do I help those non tech savvy people be more successful with online meetings? So last week we started a post. This week is a follow up blog post. So I encourage you guys to check it out. I put the link with a question asking really what has worked for you. I would love to hear some ideas and tips. There's probably things that I haven't even thought of that could be helpful as well. So use my tips, but please add to them because we can all learn together. The four tips I have in terms of this week in connecting people who are non tech savvy with online meetings, uh, I'll just kind of run through those. Number one is use Zoom. I know there's a lot of platforms, and there could be something else that I haven't seen. But just yesterday, I was talking with somebody who had used Microsoft Teams, and it just was clunky, and it was just difficult to engage a larger group of people. If you're doing one on one, that might be fine, but if you're trying to engage more people, it's just hard to see where the chat is sometimes, and sometimes it's hidden from some people. And there's a whole lot of other software, GoToMeeting, you name it. And I don't get paid by Zoom, but I really have found it to be most user friendly for our non tech savvy folks. Number two is use either Google Chrome or Firefox browsers for online meetings and encourage your folks who are using other things to switch over to those. What I have found is sometimes things like Internet Explorer or Safari are just clunky, and they may work fine for some areas, but the browser tends to be difficult for online meetings. So Google Chrome or Firefox. Again, I don't get paid by them either, but I've just found it to be working well. Number three is ask lots of questions. There's no such thing as a bad question in this situation. You are trying to understand and try to ask questions with just a listening ear and an inquisitive nature, not in a shaming or blaming or judgmental way, but just say, hey, at my screen, I see this little box and this little button that says mute. Do you see that on the left side of your screen, or maybe it's somewhere else? Just ask those questions to try to get to know what's going on as you help your folks who may not be as tech savvy. And again, as you ask those questions, do that in a way that is helping them engage and with empathy, not with, oh my goodness, you're just so difficult, because then they're not going to be able to engage with you very well. The fourth is prepare backup plans. You may have trained and done a pre-meeting, kind of like I suggested last week, or all kinds of things. But the reality is, many times you need to have other options because some of our non-tech savvy friends are just not going to be able to get on. So have a call-in option so that people can call in if their computer audio isn't working, or if they don't have a microphone on their computer, or something that just is difficult, or same with their camera. In that same place, have an option for people to engage other than maybe the chat. So as I've encouraged you guys in the past, is have a team of folks helping with those online meetings. So maybe have that person's email address in the information about the meeting to say, hey, if you have questions or run into trouble and you're not able to engage in the chat, email this person. And then that person can put stuff in the chat, can also be with you, put it on the chat, and that can be really helpful in terms of engaging folks. Also, as a facilitator, maybe even make a note card for yourself to remind you to engage the phone participants as well as those that you can see and hear in the online meeting space. And then the other thing that's just can be amusing if you want is remember to remind the folks who may be all on mute on the phone that they have to dial *6. Unmuting their phones will not work. It just will not work if everybody is in a mute all status. They have to dial *6. Anyway, those are my tips. There's a lot more out there. I'd love to hear from you. Please do chime in on the comments. I think there's a lot of things we can learn from each other, and we can support each other in being successful. And if you are one of those folks who are like, that's me, I'm the non-tech savvy, do not feel shame. It is okay. We all have different strengths. We all have different areas of expertise. So seek help. Be willing to ask questions and seek help. Check out this week's post. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your Friday. Thanks so much for joining. Take care.